All right, folks, so we're going to talk about Chapter 10, Section 3, the Golden Age of Muslim Civilization. Let's go ahead and get advanced here. How many of you did the homework assignment? Just quick show of hands. Or at least finished it up when we had time in class today. Awesome. Did you guys turn 10-2 back in? Everybody turned it in? Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So today, your goals are, how were the Muslim society and economy organized? What traditions influenced Muslim art and literature? And what advances did Muslims make in centers of learning? Okay, social and economic advances. This should be Roman numeral 1, yes?
Yeah.
In your notes? Outstanding. Outstanding. Muslim rulers united people from diverse cultures, guys. As they did this, and this is something that is so unique to Islamic culture, when they moved into an area, again, they did not force you to convert. All right, and 9 times out of 10, when Muslims moved into an area, they would accept local customs, and they would typically apply them to how they lived life. They literally cherry-picked all the best parts of society and used them for their own benefit. They blended traditions. Okay, class distinctions are going to shift between Arabs and non-Arabs. They're going to fade over time, and everybody just becomes Muslim. Okay, everybody over time just becomes Muslims. Okay, social mobility is key. Okay, social mobility is the ability to move throughout social classes. So if you were born to a poor family, okay, you were born to a poor family, if you worked, you learned, you applied yourself, you could move up the social ladder by making more money and gaining more influence. Everybody could do this. All right, we talk about it here in America as the American dream, right? If you apply yourself, you work hard, you do what you need to do, you will be successful. Okay? So social mobility was key during this time. People moved their rank. You could become involved in the religion. You could become educated and become a scholarly worker, or you could join the military and do your thing in the military. Okay? Military brings you up in social rank, especially in some of these ancient societies. They had a lot of respect and admiration for their military members. Guys, slavery was still instituted. Okay, even though they would go into certain areas, Islam would move into certain areas, slavery was still a common institution. Everybody had slaves. Okay, when the Islamic law took place, anybody remember what Islamic law is called? Starts with an S. Sharia law. Very good, Mauricio. Gosh, you're on fire, dude. Look at you with a hand raised. What was it again, Mauricio? Can you say it for me one more time? You say Sharia?
Sharia.
Yeah, Sharia law. You're darn right. That's Islamic law. It encouraged the freeing of slaves as an act of charity. All right, that's one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Alm for the poor, committing acts of charity. That's what they would do. 9 times out of 10. All right, Islamic families would free the slaves. Non-Muslim slaves would convert to Islam. That didn't automatically make you free, but Islam teaches not have slavery. So if you were a slave and you converted to Islam, you would eventually earn your freedom. The slavery that we talk about, whenever I say the word slavery, what comes to mind? African Americans in the South, right? Slavery in the Middle East, sometimes similar, but a lot of times it's just servants in a house. That's what slavery was, being indentured to a family, providing free services, obviously, to that family. Between 750 and 1360, trading networks are going to explode. Okay, you want to grow, you want to make money, you want to develop your society, develop strong trade networks, and the Muslims knew that. How did the Muslims know that? They learned from other cultures. Guys, they translated ancient works into Arabic so everybody could read them. Then they learned the concepts, and then they applied them to their life. That is what we try to do here at Godwin Heights. We try to tell you all these different ideas from all over the world and let them rummage around in your head, and you then make a decision of how you want to learn and live life. So the Muslims are no different. Okay? They are going to decide, hey, if we're going to have this giant empire, we need to have some common language being spoke. And what rules everything around us, guys? Money does. Cash rules everything around us, right? That's how the song goes. Muslims are no different, and they understand that at an early time in these empires. Okay? So like Brianna was talking about earlier, she was just having that conversation with me. She's like, man, the Muslims, they developed credit systems, banks, all this crazy stuff, Mr. D. That's crazy. And I said, you're right, Brianna, they did. They did all this crazy stuff. Right? Back in the day, they made banks. All right? And they were empire-wide. If you brought a check or some cash from Cordoba all the way over to, say, Baghdad, that money was still good. It still carried the same value. That is a game changer.
Can you go back just one?
Yeah, you're very welcome. And as I said before, guys, I have no problem going back. Just make sure that you understand that you do have access to this in Google Classroom, so you can follow along if you want. Just free heads up. If it's easier for you to kind of copy and paste as opposed to type everything out, that is okay. Completely up to you. Okay? Everybody good here? Perfect. So we talked about banks. Handicraft manufacturing in cities. Guilds were built. So if you were a blacksmith, you would get into a guild with other blacksmiths, and then you guys would control the prices. Okay? So Brianna over here is a shoemaker, hypothetically. She's a shoemaker. She's going to get together with other shoemakers, and they're going to develop prices for those shoes. And guess what, Brianna? You guys get to decide as a guild how much those shoes are worth and what you're going to sell them for. Right? So nobody's trying to hurt anybody else. You guys are working together, so everybody makes money. Do you hate making money? No, I like making money, right? Making money's fun. And so that's what you're going to start to see with these societies. Outside the cities, technology is going to bring change to even the agricultural world, and you're going to see agriculture flourish. All right, right now, we have like a handful of farmers that actually full-time farm in the United States. You can look it up if you want. It's insane how small the number is and how many millions of acres they tend to. All right. Nowadays, a lot of machines are run off of GPS. You don't even need to be in the tractor driving it. You just set a computer system and it'll plant your corn and then it'll pick your corn later. And all you got to do is follow along with a remote control and a GPS. Not bad when you think about it, but craziness nonetheless. Hey, Xander, make sure we're up, buddy. Thank you. So again, these are available. You can follow along. So the following business practices were pioneered by merchants in Muslim lands. Select the correct answer. They're not listed out because it's on Pear Deck, but essentially they develop good banking practices, checks, a similar money system, so on and so forth. So let's talk about Muslim art and literature, guys. The tradition of many people living under Muslim rule is going to change. You're going to see different traditions get incorporated into different parts of society. You're going to see styles show up: Greek, Roman, Persian, Indian. Other people that they come into contact are going to have influence on their development. Remember, we looked at a picture of a mosque a couple days ago. Do you guys remember that? The inside of a mosque? And it had what in it? Had arches inside, right? That's Romanesque. We talked about the beautiful decor and the wonderful painted ceiling. That is Gothic, right? So they're going to take these influences and they're going to throw them into a bag. They're going to mix them together, and they're going to get something very uniquely Islamic. Okay? And that's going to come out with the religion. It's going to come out with design and architecture, and also literature. You're going to start to see that come out in the writing. Okay? Muslims seek knowledge is also the section that we're in right now. Okay? Muslims seek knowledge. So this is just a rundown. You don't need to write this stuff down, guys. This is just a general information. I'm just giving you a heads up on all the different parts of how they sought knowledge. Philosophy, you see a lot of Greek influence, religious mixed with religious teachings of Islam. You have Ibn Khaldun. He's going to set a scientific standard for history, a way to look at history, very scientific. Just to let you guys know some different important writers. You have Rubaiyat al-Adwai, Ferdowsi, and Omar Khayyam. They're going to be poets and scholars. They are going to, this guy, Ferdowsi, is going to write a history of Persia, which is going to be like one of the first modern histories you could ever read. Rubaiyat al-Adwai, he is going to be a poet. He liked Sufi mysticism, Again, he is going to push this idea of worshiping God without hope of reward, just doing it because it was the right thing to do, which was a game-changing piece of philosophy. Omar Khayyam is going to write something called the Bubayat, which basically talks about how life is fleeting and time is only definite. You don't live forever, so what is your story going to be? That is what Omar Khayyam is all about. Like to look at the stars a lot and ponder things. Some important writings, and you might want to write this one down if you haven't. The 1001 Nights. It basically follows a fictional princess who starts sharing out stories. Romances, fables, adventures, so on and so forth. Aladdin comes out of 1001 Nights. Okay. Ibn Rushd talks about Greek reason, religious teachings. Lots of stuff there. And then, as I said, Ibn Khaldun sets the standard for scientific study of history. So again, you don't need to write this down, just learn it. You have Muhammad al-Razi, who's a head physician in Baghdad, wrote a book on medicine, studied measles, smallpox, treat the mind and the body. And then you have Ibn Sina. This guy, he was 16, became a doctor. He was actually a personal doctor to the royal family. And he wrote something called the Canon on Medicine, which is going to be the standard textbook for hundreds of years on medicine. They gave this 16-year-old free range to do scientific experiments as well. And he's going to write about it in sometimes great detail, draw pictures of ailments that people had. And he was 16. 16! This guy's out here cutting people up and figuring things out and writing it down in a book. And like I said, he was a doctor to all the high-ranking official and political leaders. Ibn Sina, that's crazy. What are you doing at 16? You know? Still in high school. Mathematics is going to forever change. You're going to see the shift to the Arabic numeral system, the number system that we use today, 0 to 9. How we look at that, you're going to see a shift to that. Khwarizmi is going to pioneer the study of algebra. I know you guys love that guy, right? Because everybody loves algebra. Yeah? Oh, look at all the hands that aren't up right now. See some head shaking. Let's go. He's going to write a mathematics textbook that becomes standard in Europe. So again, the math you study today, it's all because of this guy. Okay? Right here. So you can thank him. Because of the arid nature, again, a lot of it's a desert climate, not a lot of rain. In order to farm in that area, you are going to have to figure out some engineering feats and get water to those areas. So you're going to have some drawings here. You can see an animal clearly pulling a mechanism, which is bringing water to a pipe system from a river or body of water. And believe it or not, guys, they actually brought indoor plumbing. So when you go home and you turn on that water spigot or you flush your toilet, you can thank ancient Islamic people for trying to come up with that system, bringing in fresh water to homes all those years ago. Still in Muslim seeking knowledge, astronomy, obviously they calculated the circumference of the earth. A lot of time spent staring at the stars and developing tables that still are used today. 1154, you have Al-Idrisi drew a map showing the world, showing the basic outlines of. You guys, what do you think here? What do you see? This is a map of the world from 1154. Pretty incredible without Google Earth, would you agree? What do you see here? Yeah, you see a boat. Very good. Yep. So bodies of water in the blue. This is Saudi Arabia, the Arabian Peninsula. This right here must then be what continent? Africa, Asia over here, and then this is Europe. Not bad for 1154, if you ask me anyway. You guys see the Nile River on there? You just had a test over this. You guys see the Nile River? Right here. There's the Nile. They have it running from Egypt all the way out to the Atlantic Ocean. Not bad, again, for 1154. That's pretty good. Okay, medicine, as I said, government set up hospitals with emergency rooms. Again, all the things that we have today started around this time. So it's like 1,300 years ago, you know. Measles and smallpox were being studied all the way back then. We have a medical encyclopedia. And cataracts. Does anybody have somebody in their family that has cataracts? I see a few hands in the air. No, some of you may personally have cataracts. I know my dad does. They were treating cataracts all the way back then. I got to imagine that the medical technology is not what it is today. So can you imagine pumping water or liquid into somebody's eye, trying to figure that out? If you don't know about cataracts, Miss English, what are cataracts?
Oh, I've got two of them. Yeah. You know when you look at a dog, an old dog, and their eyes look kind of cloudy, you guys, because they're so old? It's kind of like the same in some people. It's like you get this little covering over your eyes. And like for me, colors are not vivid at all. I know I'm going to have surgery at some point, but I don't want to. So they actually put you on a table and they surgically remove like the top covering of your eye of each of them. Ooh. And right now they do it by like usually lasers. But just imagine if you sneeze on that table while they have that thing.
Yeah. Very interesting to think about. I had LASIK as well, and it was I enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome, but it's also a little intimidating. So, here you guys go. This is some pictures out of that medical encyclopedia. So what changed the medical encyclopedia is they would show you the procedures they were doing or some of the ailments. Personally, I don't know what's going on here. Is that an arm? Is that a leg? Like maybe it's a child. I don't know. Maybe it's intestines. Who knows? If you show up to a doctor with this giant gash in your stomach, I got to assume that probably hurts. Okay. So they're showing like, look at this one even up here. This guy, you show up to the doctor, you got a couple of swords in your body. I'm assuming that's probably the issue. Like, can you tell me where it hurts? Oh, right here and right here. Okay. It's just very interesting. Here you see what looks like the plague, maybe. Looks like what could be a buboes. You guys remember those from the Black Plague? But this is what it came with. And so it would show these pictures of these ailments, and it would help people diagnose things quickly. Right, Leo? Arab medicine and pharmacology were advanced. Ibn Sina wrote the definitive medical encyclopedia of the time. And again, these are some of the pictures from it. Here you see him making some type of medicine. So very, very interesting stuff. Okay. Just a couple other famous Muslim leaders and empires. We talk about Al-Mansur, Muhammad II, Suleiman, and then the Ottoman Empire was the largest, most powerful empire. We talk about Safavids, which occurred in today's Iran. Just wanted to show this to you guys real quick. Again, nothing too crazy. These are different achievements which you can go through on your own if you want. If you want to add some of these bullet points, you can. Don't feel you need to. Calligraphy, domes, minarets, all of those designs that are uniquely Islamic come out of this time period. Okay, we've seen the advances in everywhere that we go. And let's see what we got here. Which of the following is true of Muslim society through its golden age? Take a minute in your head to come up with an answer. Which of the following was true of Muslim society throughout its golden age? Which of the following was an achievement of Muslim surgeons? We just talked about it. And here are your answers. So which of the following is true of Muslim societies? They blended and absorbed many traditions, and then the treatment of cataracts was something that was achieved by Muslim scientists. Questions, concerns? All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this presentation for Chapter 10, Section 3. You guys have done an amazing job. Let me know if you have any questions.